Welcome to the HyperFast Agent Growth Show. Get real strategies, real results, and real estate them differently. Lead generation, team building, AI, and more from billion-dollar agents, best-selling authors, international speakers, and real estate coaches, Keri Shull and Lesniak. Let's dive in!
Welcome back to the HyperFast Agent Growth Show. Keri and I are super excited to be here with you today. We've got an exciting topic that Keri is especially passionate about. We just went through an exercise we'll share and a lot more good stuff.
So, guys, I think going into a new season, a new year, a new quarter, being obsessed with how you spend your time is so important. So, I started reflecting going into this year on an exercise my coach had me do back in the day. I'm going to date myself, it was about 20 years ago. And what I noticed, the difference between how I executed that task and what I saw from some of my friends that were in the same room is that everybody did it that day. But the difference is some people put it on the shelf and I continued to do it every quarter. And 20 years later, here I am talking to you about it because it's been absolutely life-changing for me. And Dan got to see me doing that and then how we took it and created a resource for us to be in complete alignment with running our calendar. So, whether you are a married couple that's in business together, whether you're not in business together, or whether you're someone who's single and just looking to optimize how you spend your time and make sure it's in alignment with your goals, this is going to help you.
Yeah, and I think really knowing your time, knowing what your time is worth, and controlling your time, controlling your schedule is vitally important for real estate agents. I think if you don't do this exercise that we're about to talk about, the risk you have is your day fills up with stuff that is urgent but not important, right? Like
Mm.
emails, social media, stuff that's tangentially related to work, if at all. And then what slips? Well, your prospecting, your proactive lead generation, right? Building your business down the road, that goes away, and you're filled up with all this menial stuff, and you're wondering why you're not selling enough homes. So if you get control of your time, you really plan out your schedule, you're gonna have a lot more success in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question is, okay, guys, great. I need to get control of my time. But for some of you, you're overwhelmed and you are spending a lot of time doing things that feel important, but it's not moving the needle and you're not living the life you want to. And so I think for me, what my coach taught me all those years ago was to literally put a magnifying glass on how you're spending your time, to catalog that for a full week. So for some of you, you're like, yuck, that sucks. That sounds awful. I understand. But the only way to make valuable change in life is to know what is happening right now. So start out by being really clear. How are you spending your time? Right? And some of you are spending time, I hate to say this, but what you're doing is scrolling on social media. You're looking for ideas and inspiration, right? But the problem is you haven't systemized that. You haven't put it into a plan. And so you end up spending more time doing things like that than you want to. So once you come up with this list of how you're spending your time, then the next step is to focus on what are the things you love doing? What are the things that you believe are the highest and most productive use of your individual time, right?
Yeah, and we're starting the new year off. I think most of you, hopefully all of you, spent time at the end of last year really locking down your goals and planning your year out. And I really, really want to encourage you all to take the next step further, right? Transition from those goals to like, okay, what does the daily and weekly schedule look like for someone that's going to achieve those goals? And as you're kind of doing this inventory and looking at all of the different activities and things you spend time on, I want you to think of a quadrant, right? And if you're listening, it'll be harder to visualize maybe, but not that we have a whiteboard or anything to show you anyway if you're watching, so
Here
it
I
doesn't matter.
am.
But yeah, so list out all of your activities and then rank them in two different categories, right? Are they important or not important? And are they urgent or non-urgent? And then when you do this exercise, you'll have four different bins, right? You'll have urgent and important activities, right? That would be like if a big sale is about to close and you need to get an addendum done or a final negotiation, right? That's urgent and important. You'll have things that are urgent but not important, right? That might be responding to emails. You know, you can imagine, right? There's lots of things that fit that category. There's also urgent and uh wait, which ones have we done so far? I'm getting confused. We've done urgent, important, and we did urgent, not important. There's also going to be not important, not urgent. Hint, those are those are things you're just going to ignore. And there's going to be things that are important but not urgent, right? And that would be like future, you know, future plans for your business, marketing campaigns, prospecting, right? And what you want to do at the end of this exercise is figure out like, okay, how do I ignore or forget about the things that are not important and not urgent? How do I delegate or use AI to do the things that are urgent, um, but not important? And then how do I spend more of my time on the things that are important, whether that's important and urgent or important and non-urgent? Because that's where you make your money in those important areas. So walk through a little bit about how you do this, how we did this.
Well, so for me, I want to know what also brings me joy, which isn't in that quadrant. And I'm sure that you guys can think about as you're looking at those tasks. I find I'm so I want to feel really fulfilled in how I'm spending my time, right? So I look at on that list of things that you're doing, circle the things you absolutely love doing. And don't like, oh, I love doing this because I have to do it. Just like, what do you love doing? And then what are you best at? Is the highest and best use of your talents? And then look at the rest of the list. And this is where the exercise that's so important in calculating how much your time is worth comes in. So you want to look at how many weeks you went on vacation in the last year, okay? Or how many weeks you want to go on vacation in the next year. There's a couple ways you can do it. For me, I just did an inventory. Dan and I sat down, we looked at the calendar for last year, and I went on vacation for 16 weeks. Like that might sound crazy, but it really dramatically impacted the exercise we're going to walk through. Then you want to look at how many hours you spend on actual work. So again, this isn't scrolling social media or getting ideas. This is, showing houses, prospecting if you're a team leader, running trainings and recruiting and whatever it is that you're doing that's the work, right? Then you want to be honest with yourself about that. So when I calculated it and I figured out, okay, based on this many weeks and this many hours, here's the total number of hours I worked in the year. I take my net annual income and I divide it by the total hours worked. Then I have the net hourly rate that I essentially am charging for my time, right? I know what my time is worth. Then you go back to that list and you think about even the things you love doing. Like, I'll give you an example for me. I love showing houses. Guys, I'm a total nerd. I used to be so fulfilled by that. It would give me so much joy. I love spending time with the clients, right? So many people who are team leaders love the list side because they get to spend less hours. For me, when I was really, really taking inventory of my time over the years, showing houses was something that I had to delegate, even though I loved it. So figure out what are the things that you could pay someone to do that don't bring you joy first, that you are not amazing at doing, like ask me to fill out paperwork and get every form so that I can get paid. That would be a long journey to getting paid, people, because that is not my strength, right? So figure out those things for you, and then you start to get clarity on who to hire, right? And the next piece of this is, and I'm going to talk to the moms. Is that okay? If you're listening to this and you're a dad, you may be in this situation. I'm being stereotypical here. Forgive me. But a lot of times the moms tend to have a lot on their plate personally between making sure that there's food in the house and cooking and laundry and the whole list of things. So when Dan and I went through this exercise over the holidays, I go, wait a minute. I need to have more help at home because my hourly rate is too high not to leverage that so that I can get more time back. I'm really into meditating right now. I just went to Dr. Joe. If you love Dr. Joe, you put a comment in this episode so I know you're my people. But I want to spend my time in the morning and at night doing that. And if instead I'm folding laundry, I'm not getting joy out of that and it's not the highest and best use of my time. So I think sometimes these principles are really easy to apply at work and then we fail to apply them at home. So we have someone amazing in the other room right now cooking for our family and doing laundry because of this exercise. So I want you guys to do it for yourselves and then make the list of things you want to delegate and just have AI help you do the job description from that. Because when you become obsessed with your time, you get to also allocate more time for joy, right? And you get to do the higher dollar productive activities. Like for me, going and meeting with builders is a really highly productive activity. Meeting with agent partners that may be interested in joining our group at EXP or joining our team, that lights me up. I love listening to people's goals and helping them fulfill their goals. And so that's the highest and best use of my time, right?
Well, and I think, yeah, figuring out how to delegate some of the things at home is great. So great example there. What about for like the average agent out there, they're looking, they figure out their income was this, their time spent was this, so they're maybe making $300-400 an hour. I'm just kind of guessing at
Yeah.
some of the averages. And they're a solo agent kind of doing everything. What do you think are some of the things that they should look at first to use either AI or virtual assistant or hire to from the business side that, to get off their plates?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So I think it depends on the ratio of buy side and list side business that you're doing and how focused you are on growth. So how much time you're spending prospecting. One of the agents on our team that's actually a brand new agent said, "Oh gosh, I'm spending a lot of time door knocking and I'm really good at that." And so she wanted to hire a virtual partner that was tested as an ISA to help her book appointments. And I'm like, wow, for somebody to be that smart about how they're spending their time, she already got a $1.8 million listing. She's been on the team for only about a month and a half now from door knocking. So she's like, the more time I can spend in person door knocking, the higher return I'm going to have. And I'm comfortable doing that, right? So I think for some of you, it's probably hiring somebody to help support you on the phone calls, to help you do more prospecting, to generate more opportunity for you, right? And that's a hard position to hire for, but guess what? We're successfully doing it. Agents all over the country are successfully doing it. And you may need to test a few people to get it right. Don't give up. If you decide you're going to do something, you keep working at it to figure out how to do it. And the other piece that's probably easiest to delegate is well, and you could also use AI to figure out the right people to call. So we use systems like Fellow, very, very good for helping you figure out who's the high propensity to sell people. So when you are going to make phone calls, you're making phone calls to the highly motivated people, not the people that are going to move in 10 years. That's a big deal, right? And then we use Ylopo as an AI resource to warm our leads up. And so sometimes they're raising their hand to go see a property by the time we're calling them. That's another thing that makes it more effective. So having the right technology plugged into your CRM is super, super important. Um, Having somebody to help with your touch bases with your past clients, that's something else that can be leveraged and you can put a system around it. You could decide what touches you're going to do for the year, when you're going to do evidence of success, which is like a case study from a really successful sale, when you're going to do something heartfelt, like we're looking at doing a letter for all of our past clients for Valentine's Day. What's the book that we read that really helped us with gifting? Is it Giftology?
Giftology.
Giftology.
Yeah.
So you could do something where you're creating an entire plan for how you're going to stay in touch with your clients because let's face it, that's the heartbeat of your business. So putting that on autopilot and knowing you have that done for the year, imagine how much that would make your heart feel so amazing, right? A gifting program, having an assistant come in that's a virtual assistant that can use AI to help with your birthday program and get that like 100% dialed in. That's something that you could do. And then the easiest one, and I didn't say this first because it's so obvious, is transaction support.
I was wondering
Yeah,
that was coming.
because boring. Everybody knows that one. That one sucks. Like, of course, you have to have transaction support. That's the easiest thing. There are successful people doing that all over the country. And so I think that that's a huge deal. The other thing is decide how motivated you are to grow. If you're making $400,000 and you're using that whole $400,000 to live, personally, I would recommend that you read a book like Rich Dad Poor Dad and you decide, okay, if I want to grow quick, how much of this money am I willing to cut out of my lifestyle and not spend to invest in my growth? When I hired my first full-time assistant, I only did 19 transactions the year before, right? And some people are like, okay, when you hit 52 transactions, but I knew I wanted to grow. So I think you have to know your vision. You have to know what you want to create. And once you have that clarity, you put the systems around you to help. And the other thing I would say, you have to have agents that can go out and show homes for you. Like, period. And agents that you can call to go drop off a lockbox, or there's plenty of agents who are failing right now that are not succeeding that you can plug into doing the things and pay an hourly rate, but you have to coach them carefully on what they do and don't say to your clients. So, as an example, if somebody's going to show homes for you, set a boundary. They gather information, they find out how they like it. If they rate the home at the end of the showing, they do not trend close. That is not their job. They are not allowed to do that. At the end of the showing, they say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how'd you feel about the house? If it's over a 6 or 7, depending on the client, then they say, oh, fantastic. Let's go ahead and call Keri. I know she's dying to hear what you thought. Then I close. So some of you guys are afraid to delegate because you delegate like this. Oh, good, Dan's showing the house. Like, I'm out. Well, of course you're going to lose leverage and you're not going to, well, if it was Dan, he'd close it. But my point is, if you select somebody to show the house and you don't have a system for how that's going to work, it's going to burn you. So put a box around it. Figure out your superpower. I am really good at understanding my clients' needs deeply. And when I first delegated showing houses, I was still the one that was closing them on commitment and moving them forward. And I was doing it when they were in the house. So very, very important.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing, if we go back to earlier, you were talking about the different parts of the business that light you up, that you like. It was showing houses because you like that relationship with the buyers, right? Talking to clients and talking to builders. So
Mhm.
those are like clients that will do multiple transactions with you,
Mhm.
and talking with agents, right? Either looking to join the team or join our group at eXp Realty. And so I think there's it's interesting that what lights you up aligns with what actually makes a lot of money,
Yeah.
right? So I think you've designed the schedule and work so that you get to spend more time in these high impact areas. And whether you're at the level where you need an assistant to hire people out or you're just mapping out your schedule, I think the priority in it has to be like a 2 or 3 or 4 hour block that's designed for you to talk to prospects, talk to clients, right? And that's, you've been able to do this at a high level. Hopefully, if you're starting out, you'll be able to take some of this and do what we said. And then the last part of this, so we've talked about like figuring out what's urgent and not urgent, important and not important, and delegating and potentially hiring. You actually have to map it out, like put pen on paper and
Yes. In fact,
map out your weekly schedule. And like Keri said, even if you're just a solo agent, you don't have a spouse, like you still need to do it and like map out everything from when you wake up to when you go to bed, like put your workouts in there, when you're gonna do trainings and role playing or coaching, right? When you're gonna do prospecting, the times you're gonna have available for listing appointments and or recruiting, if you're growing a team or rev share group. So like map everything out.
Well, and so here's the thing that I immediately think when you say that. I'm like time blocking. And guys, I used to feel like time blocking was acid on my soul because I'm a freedom fighter. Like I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But I realized somewhere along the way, my resistance to having consistency in my schedule was something that was a barrier to the next level of freedom. Okay? So let me just frame that for you. For me, I have to be really careful with reoccurring meetings. Like I have 55 agents on the team and another 17 joining in January, right? I have four children, a husband, right? I have multiple people on my leadership team. And if I weren't really optimizing what's the marketing team, what's the highest and best use of my time for reoccurring meetings, I could spend an entire 50 hours a week in meetings. So the first thing I do every quarter is look at my calendar for the last quarter. What meetings was I a part of? And is the cadence and the time that I'm spending in that meeting appropriate given the result of and the impact of me personally being there, right? And so if you're an agent, do you have to be at the showing? Some of you are going to brush up against this idea that you're the only one who could do it. And if I kept operating with that framework, I would have never been able to delegate and scale to the place that I wanted to. And so for me, that where I start as a team leader with analyzing my time and a mom and all the different hats I'm wearing is, okay, where am I going to be with my children? Like it says kid time for me. Every morning, I know I can do what I need to do until about 6:30 in the morning. So I get up early. I'm a freak of nature, right? But then I only have reoccurring meetings on my schedule on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because that like craving of freedom, I get that on Monday and Friday where I don't have any planned reoccurring meetings. So I think for you, you have to model it out. Where are the reoccurring meetings where you're going to get the highest and biggest return? Do they need to be every week? Do they need to be an hour? I started blocking 20-minute meetings for some of my meetings because it's a touch base. I just need to make sure that I have alignment with someone on a couple of next steps. And by reducing the expectation, we tend to be more effective with what we're talking about. So I want to encourage you to put pen to paper, figure out what's going to give you that feeling of freedom if you crave it like I do. Figure out what's going to what's going to move the needle most for you in your business. And if that is, hey, I need a lot more clients, yeah, you're going to need to block in that time to prospect and eat that frog, people. The things that you have to do to evolve to where you want to be in life, you have to do the hard ones first.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you're a team leader or have hopes or goals of becoming a team leader, you want to make sure you check out our next episode. We're going to be talking about using AI to increase your onboarding speed. Right? So check that one out. And if you're a first-time listener, we hope you will leave a review or subscribe. And everyone, share this with other agents that you think would get a benefit out of getting better with their time.
All right, guys. See you next time.
You've been listening to HyperFast Agent Growth Show with Keri Shull and Lesniak. Real strategies, real results, real estate done differently. If you love this episode, tap subscribe and share with another agent who's ready to grow.